Our next breakout session will be by Jill Flygare on teaching tomorrow's stewards, Utah's new K through 12 water curriculum. So I'll give the time to Jill.
Great. Really excited to be here with you all today and to share the work that Utah Waterways has been doing around K-12 curriculum. I've had the opportunity, and so have individuals from Utah Waterways, to talk with several of you and learn about work that you all are doing with kids around the state with water conservation and watersheds. And so look forward to the continued conversation and collaboration. But just by way of introduction, Utah Waterways is a nonprofit organization that was established in 2023 as a public-private partnership. It was directed to be stood up by the state legislature. We receive funding from both the state and by corporations throughout the state of Utah. And the goal really is statewide conservation. We are looking to really shift attitudes and to change behaviors of Utahns statewide to affect the way in which we all view water, how we're using water, and ultimately conserving that water for the greater benefit of not just us here today, but future generations. And so the reality is that we live in a desert. I don't think that comes as a surprise to anybody sitting in here. We are one of the driest states in the nation, but we're also one of the fastest growing states in the nation. And though all of those things together don't tend to fit well, but they are part of our reality. And so how do we work with all of those things and provide opportunities for all of us, and how that fits into what we're going to talk about today is also teaching from the very youngest ages who we are as citizens of the state, and becoming good stewards of our resources. So about a year ago, Utah Waterways, along with Envision Utah and a couple of other partners, engaged in a water values study. And we continue to do a longitudinal study with other partners. And I don't think it would be too much of a surprise to you that water was one of the biggest concerns. If you go back about a decade or 15 years, air quality was right up there as a top concern for Utahns. And that is really what has swapped, is now water is top of mind and a top concern for Utahns. But as part of water being a concern, we also ask the question, what do you value about water? And there's like a 3-pillar of values when it comes to water, and that is ecosystems. So think Great Salt Lake here in this watershed, in this valley. Generational growth. We want our children and our grandchildren to live here. We want space for them to be able to grow up and to live similar lives as we all did here in this state. And we want security. We want security around water. We want to know that water is going to be safe. And it's going to be here. And so at Utah Waterways, we're really looking at all of those things. And then part of the curriculum that we did, we're connecting that water literacy from a very young age to sustainability. So, if I can get this to play.
Hi folks, I'm Mike Rowe, and I'm excited to let you know that coming in 2025 to IMAX and giant screens is the story of the magnificence, the beauty, and the vital importance of Great Salt Lake to Utah and the world. This stunningly beautiful film is a celebration of the lake's incredible natural value that drives the state economy and sustains a myriad of life, including our own. Secrets of Great Salt Lake and IMAX 3D will be seen by millions of people all over the globe. In the coming decade, nearly every school-age Utah child will experience the film at the soon-to-be-completed Antelope Island Theater and State Park Visitor and Learning Center. From the breaking of the dam on ancient Lake Bonneville thousands of years ago to today's thriving metropolis, this film will showcase the story of the lake's formation and how it sustains much of life in Utah today. From the greatest snow on Earth to unrivaled wildlife, both large and small, Great Salt Lake is the heartbeat of the region. Saving Great Salt Lake is inspiring the next generation of the lake's conservationists and is the mission of this film. Together, we can be part of one of conservation's greatest success stories, and in the process, create a future for our children and our grandchildren. Now, wouldn't that be a legacy worth celebrating?
How many people in this room know about this film, Secrets of the Great Salt Lake? Oh, a few hands, a few hands. Now, after you leave this room, all of your hands can go up, and we'll be so excited. And might I just add, Cynthia B. is so thrilled that Mike Rowe is narrating. Mike Rowe is narrating the entire film, so you can. But the film will come out, and it will premiere late winter, early spring, it has anyone seen the whole thing? Other than my row right here? Okay, I've got one hand in the back. It is a stunning film that will leave you inspired and just your jaw dropping. Like you just, but we had the absolute privilege of working with the developers of this film and a group called the Flippin' Group and Capturing Kids' Hearts, along with the State Board of Education over the last year and a half to produce seed-aligned science and engineering education, because I cannot always remember what that stands for, but seed-aligned standards for K through 12 education. Part of the direction of Utah Waterways was to assist with putting science and water conservation education back into the curriculum. And so again, with these entities, we had the daunting task, and the privilege of pulling resources together. And then last June, working with specifically with the Board of Education to bring science teachers together. And with those resources, having the science teachers write units for every single grade level. And then over the summer, doing professional development additional training and conferences to get the word out. These units take clips from the Secrets of the Great Salt Lake and embed them into the curriculum. Now, not every single unit, but a majority of the units take snippets from the Secrets of the Great Salt Lake. But additionally, there are units on the water cycle, watersheds, water infrastructure. It takes from elementary all the way to high school, and they build one on another. So from the very youngest, kindergarten kids are learning about what water is, and they use play, and they use rhyme, and they use singing to learn about the water cycle, and lots of hands-on into middle schools, learning about the human impact of water and water quality, to high schools learning about water policy and how they can influence water policy and water infrastructure, and why water infrastructure is so important, and what it means to how water actually gets from point A to point B. For too long, and especially here in Utah, we as citizens turn on our taps and just expect clean water to come out. Now, we should expect clean water to come out in a first world civilized society, but we also take it for granted. And we turn on the tap and we just think an abundance of water should come out. And we don't think about where it comes from and everything that it takes to get that water to us. And as a result, we tend to waste it. And so we need to start teaching and people understanding that there are limits to water. And that's what this curriculum is meant to do. Other things that we're doing along with the schools and the curriculum is connecting the classrooms to community. So students learn how their daily choices connect to their community. There are family activities that go home or could go home. None of this is subscribed. You don't know, a teacher does not, nothing is foisted upon them. These are all individual choices of teachers, but these are opportunities that are provided. So we have provided family activities that could be done, experiments, science experiments that teach about water, so that parents are learning what the kids are learning as well at home. You know, taking a walk through your neighborhood and learning about and pointing out different water sources and where water might be are some of the types of activities that are provided in these take-home family activities. We also are working and would love to collaborate with any and all of you that are here today on community events and community challenges that reinforce this behavior. We have engaged in Salt Lake County in demonstration landscape projects where we're making over a front yard and a backyard in Harriman that shows people what it would look like to have a water-wise lawn, and what it would look like to live in a water-wise lawn. For too long, we've just told people, you should reduce the amount of lawn you have in your front yard. But people are like, well, what does that mean? And what would that really look like? And how would we live in it? And so now we're actually doing it, and we're showcasing it, and we're providing videos and and interviews with homeowners about what that has meant to them. And so that's what we mean by community events, some challenges, but we'd love to do more and partner with anyone who is out here. And right now we're doing some pilot programs in districts, again, going out, doing professional development. We're teaching. We've had the opportunity to go into schools and do activities with students. A ton of fun. I'm a former teacher. I almost said reformed teachers, but you're never a reformed teacher. It's so much fun to get back into the school. Any teachers in here at all? It's tiring, right? Do you now remember why you're like, yeah, this is why I don't do this anymore. but it's so much fun. And you get back in there and you're like down on, hands and knees sometimes, or just those activities. And you love just getting involved with those kids again. So we're doing that kind of stuff. We want to do some field trips and some assemblies. But again, love to engage some more with all of you. Professional development, we've talked to some individuals here and we'll do more of that. And then again, some collaborative opportunities with watershed councils. Please reach out. We'd love to do some field trips on site or anything that you have available. We'd love to co-sponsor some additional activities. Our curriculum is continually changing, so we'll be updating that, and we would love to add additional context. So please make sure you reach out. I'll have a QR code in a minute. You can scan it or reach out via email, whichever you would like. But as far as impact, our goal is to get to annually 500 teachers through professional development opportunities, whether that's in conferences or individual districts, 50,000 students engaged in water conservation education, partnering with 20 plus entities. And the ultimate goal is to increase water literacy and conservation. We were generously awarded a grant from Intermountain Health through their community grant program, and so we will be able to continue enhancing all of these opportunities, and would love to get more involved with your individual organizations and do more. So please reach out to us. Again, we would love to partner with you on curriculum or to do a workshop. If you have resources or anything that you would like to contribute, if you want to be a host in the school, we would love to talk to all of you. So I'll leave this up for a second for anyone who would like to either grab the email that's there or scan the QR code. But with that, I would take any questions that anyone might have.
I'm going to be a devil's advocate for
sure
a second.
can.
This reminds me a little bit about the tobacco industry. 10% of the water in Utah is used by people. So what about the 80% of ag or the 10% of industrial use? Those are fine uses, but we could say that we could not consume any water as individual people, and Utah would still be in a water crisis.
I'm going to take out the whether or not we'd still be in a water crisis and stick with the first part of it. Right now, and several people have come to the booth, and if I've spoken to you, we've kind of touched on this a little bit, that at this moment, we are focusing on residential. And that is, it's true, that's where we are. We're focusing on residential. That does not mean that we discount any other water user. And we will begin talking to, and working with all of the others, including the institutional, right? The commercial, Izzy, why do I forget the other one every time? Industrial, and the ag. Ag is coming on with us as a partner. We'll begin doing some work in that space. They are doing work. They are working through optimization, but there also is some misconceptions out there. And I'm not here to talk about ag, and so we don't need to get into a lot of that. But there are some misconceptions about ag water that we definitely can address at another time. But everyone needs to step up and do their part, because every single thing we do is going to matter. It will. Everything is going to matter in the long run. And we, as an organization, understand that, and we're starting here on this line, and we will get to the other side of the line spectrum as we're moving forward. I know it's not a full answer.
I was just curious about where to find this curriculum that you've developed.
Thank you. So the curriculum is on the UEN e-media. And if you go to their e-media, it's all the way and you scroll down, it's under Slow the Flow, water conservation.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
What districts are you currently piloting in, and how hyper-local do you get with some of the curriculum? Or is it just the state as a whole, or are things tailored a little differently in St. George than they would be in like Cache County or things like that?
That is a great question. So we have done some specific work in the Heber Valley area. And we'll be doing some in Granite School District. And then, of course, we want to branch out more. This just started this school year. And then as far as, okay, the specificity, I can't even talk. I'm done. Like, it's just, it was really, the teachers that came together were from across the state. They were, but I will say that a lot of the curriculum in mainly the younger, now 4th through like 7th, I would say, focuses a lot on the Great Salt Lake. And that's where we need to start branching a little bit more to get some curriculum that looks a little more towards other regions of our state. Because this first year, there was a lot that focused on the Great Salt Lake. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, thank you. I was just wondering as well, what are the efforts to kind of get that curriculum out to the teachers? So that's one of the issues, is that you get overwhelmed with the stuff that's out there. So how are we getting it to them? And through UAN, e-media is a good resource. And what other ways you guys are doing that?
Yeah, so we have pushed a lot through science newsletters. That's and their listservs. That's our initial push, was through that way. And then we have presented at several science conferences over the summer. So that's been our initial, our next wave will be districts and going to districts and getting it out that way. So it was broad, and now we'll start narrowing. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming and listening and engaging. And again, I apologize for not fully answering your question. But we are really excited about this opportunity that we have. And we're even more excited about the opportunities to collaborate with various organizations that are here today. We know that that's where the strength is, and that's really where the opportunities lie. So please do not hesitate to reach out. We are really excited about what this can do for our students, and because I know that this is, but they truly are the future, right? They're the ones that can pull us out of where we are right now. So again, thank you and have a great afternoon.